Hi again, it's me Melik, and today, as I promised, I'm still continuing talking about pawn structure. And today, I'm going to represent one of my best, one of my favorite players, and in fact, one of the best players in chess history, Jose Capablanca. His way of thinking structurally. And the first game of his back to 1913, he played against Salve. He had the white pieces. So I'm not going to really talk about the opening parts because obviously the theory has been changed. But what do I need? And to teach you guys, it's middle game positions. So there's a very well-known famous line, open variation in Joey Lopez. Okay, so let's start to talk from here. So what we got here, if you try to understand this pawn structure, one thing you would notice immediately, it's back of pawn c7. So basically, the way how you could start to think, if somehow you could relocate your c3 pawn to d4 and control c5 square. That means c7 pawn would be weak, and you could create in future attack on the c file. So Capablanca was saying at his comments, every time in general when you are dealing with, let's say, damaging pawn structure, one of the ways to deal and one of the ways to continue your game, it's to simplify the position, eliminate, I'm not saying rest of the pieces, but most of the pieces, and keep that weaknesses by itself alone. So the way how he was thinking is this. He was saying, okay, so what should I do? Obviously, my first step is trying to put my pawn on the d4, control the c file. Now, question would be for me next, do I need to trade all pieces? Or I would say from different way. Long time ago, when I was in Moscow in academy, every time, let's say we had a lecture from very famous coach, Nikitin, and he gave us very important tip. He said, every time when you are having, if you believe you're having better pawn structure, the way how you're supposed to think is next. Ask yourself a question. What if you trade all pieces? And would you believe you can win this pawn endgame? Or which endgame would you believe, or which type of position would you believe would be definitely better for you in order to win a game? In this case, the way how Capablanca thought, he was saying, well, for me, in order to, let's say, definitely try to win this game, would be to eliminate minor pieces, put my pawn on d4, control c5 square, and play major pieces endgame. Because imagine this picture. I know it's hard to visualize, but if you are think deeply, and if you are just try to concentrate, and you will see the picture. No knights, no bishops, your pawn on d4. So that means you can double your rooks on c file. Maybe you will add your queen as triple on c file. So obviously the black rook will be simply defending c6 or c7 pawn, as well as queen will be tied to defend the pawn. Now, according to the famous law, you cannot win a game by attacking just one subject. That means white in future will be forced to create a second subject. Now, attacking queen side by trying to destroy blank a4 doesn't make any sense. Usually, if subject located on one side, on one flank, in order for you to win a game, you must create subject on opposite flank, opposite side. That means white would have to attack on the king side. And since we have a pawn on e5, this pawn structure, one of the famous plans for white, always was, and I would say always would be in future, to play f4 and f5 push. By knowing this, by understanding this, Capablanca knew what to do. This is the message to you guys. Some openings, they're very connected. They're very connected out of opening through the whole game to your end game. Some games to play, it's easier because simply you know what to do. You see, Capablanca played this game by understanding exactly his plans, by knowing what to do. Now, let's check the way how he played this game. So in this case, so this is like a kind of position which very, very well known. Now, we'll get back to his original game as he played against Sala. This is, I believe, he played against some consultants. He played against some friendly game, and he won the game by playing knight bd4 here. Now, in his original game against Salve, as I said, it was different. I'm going to pull back from the beginning and show you again. So he played e4. So first, knight d4. Again, Capablanca has studied this position, and he doesn't need to basically calculate complete moves. He just playing by structure. CD. Well, it looks like black succeed and black has no problem here, but check it out how still Capablanca increasing his pressure, because this pawn still on c7, so black didn't play c5. g3, typical move to support f4 move and forcing black to take it. As I mentioned before, the Capablanca idea to control c5 square, to create these pawns basically here and making sure he is able to attack on f5. It's forced to trade again. Again, a very necessary move because they need to control f5 square. And now, the picture, which has been explained before. That exact picture which Capablanca saw out of opening, and as I said, when he played the game against kind of friendly game before, he actually had analyzed the situation and he knew exactly what to do in case if that game will arise again in his career. So now he knows what's going on, as I said. So he knew which pieces he's supposed to keep and which pieces supposed to be gone. Now, let's talk about this position. We have no minor pieces. We're playing major pieces endgame. We control c file. And now the way how Capablanca has to win this game, just increasing pressure on the c file, tying all black pieces by defending c pawn, and then switching attack on the king side by preparing f5 move. So far, I would say it's forced. Now making sure all black pieces tie. Now this step is simply improving the position by maximum. Getting his king ready also. As you see, black completely weak and black completely passive and has no improvement. That was also important for you in order to push the queen on b7 and having no connection on this diagonal and taking away the queen from defending f5 square. Besides, queen in e3 is very smart because since white has so much room, we have here, we have possible jumps here, and also white queen has connections to join attack by jumping on f3 or g3 if I need it. Here, now that's the idea pretty much, and I think it's a very big idea because you can't really control h4 square by playing queen e7, because if we place here we have this move. So black has decided to play here f5. And tricky move, very sneaky, because white wants to take queen d5 and then take on c8 and finish the game. The only move. Still get back here. So king g3. Now we have two possible problems here. Forcing black to play rook a8. Still tying the rooks. And finally increase the pressure on f5 pawn. And now the problem is you can't go rook f8 because c6 pawn hanging, and it's forcing you either take fg, which is really bad because then I will play f5. We have two connected pawns and you'll be having a problem. Or to play king g8 by hoping to make some kind of tricks. Maybe because the g file could be open here, but Capablanca even decided to play more safer. King f3. Since he's preparing f5 push, Capablanca trying to put his king away from the king side because it's going to be open some fg files, and he's still trying to play very safe. So getting ready for his final push. Well, I'm assuming maybe Capablanca missed this kind of move for f6, but it's not a big deal. Still, white controls a tremendous amount of space pretty much everywhere, and it's not going to affect on situations. Still, at some point, white will prepare f5. Again, supporting f5 move. And finally, white improving the position. I think he was maybe at some point struggling to find the right setup for the pieces, and finally he did it. And that's it. So all squares controlled, and white's ready for f5. The only chance for black to make some kind of tricks. Here actually black found the best practical chance by capturing on e5, because all endgames are completely bad. They found the best chance here by hoping maybe to do this. But after simple here, black simply resign. So there is no perpetual check, and all squares are connected, protected, and white winning here. Again, this pawn structure could arise in your game not only from Ruy Lopez's open variation. The same pawn structure very well known in Nimzo. The same pawn structure very well known in Queen's Gambit Decline most of the time. Because there is some Casbah system when white actually trying to play e4, e5, and sometimes when we are pawns, let's say d5, c6, b7, and a7, at some positions b5 pawn moved on b5 and c pawn remains on c file behind, and white got this famous plan of Botvinnik when we're playing f3 and e4 and e5. So the same, I'm saying not the same, but very similar. So all this typical idea must be very well known. And again, Fact Capablanca, he actually also explained to us what to do and why he's one of my favorite players, because he was complete genius by understanding chess. His vision of all this structural thinking, he was the best. So I really recommend to all those guys who struggle to, let's say, see things, not calculate things, to see things, to understand planning, by understanding all these structures. I really recommend to study the games of Capablanca as a first step to improve your game. Well, I hope you like it, and we will talk about again some important stuff in chess in our next lesson. Well, thank you and have a nice day.